for me, it's, do you get enough data into the offer? So we spun stuff up and we tested it. It just wasn't working, but I wasn't willing to kill it because I was excited about it. And I think at the end of the day, I wasn't thinking about the money. I was thinking about just doing it. And, but for me, I guess decision maker, if I'm going to kill an offer, it's more so, I don't want to just throw it out one time and then just say it didn't work and quit, which a lot of people do, right? So we're going to run through our kind of testing protocol with headlines and hooks and angles, and we tested a bunch of it. But if you've tested 5 or 6 things into a marketplace and it just isn't working, I'd probably, something's obviously off.
You're listening to the Rich Ad Poor Ad podcast, where we break down the financial principles that rich advertisers are deploying today to turn advertising into profit and get tons of traffic to their websites without killing their cash. These advertisers, agencies, affiliates, brands are responsible for managing over $1 billion a year in ad spend. You'll hear about what's working for them today, their rich ads, and we'll roast their epic failures and crappy ads on the internet with poor ads. Let's get into it.
All right, everybody, we're back in action with another episode of the Rich Ad Poor Ad podcast. We got your hosts, Mr. Zach Johnson and Dylan Carpenter in the house. What's good, Zach? You ready for this one, man?
Yeah, man. Today's guest has made it out alive and is on the back end of the agency business. It'll be really interesting to hear what he's up to. Gosh, I don't even know how long he was rocking the agency game, but yeah, it's a difficult business to break free from. So it'll be a celebration, but also be cool to dive in and see what he's up to next.
Oh yeah, and even more recently, he launched an email media company that went from 0 to 167K within 6 months during a pandemic. So I mean, they call him the doctor of marketing, the king of conversions. He's got that name for a reason. So Nate Kennedy, what's good, man?
What's up? Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to chat.
Heck yeah. So yeah, give everybody an idea of kind of what you're getting into these days so everybody has some kind of context.
Yeah, so for me, it's, one thing we've done a lot of over the years is funnels and traffic and conversion, right? And I think way back in the day when I was one of the original War Room members back with the digital marketer guys. And I just dove in, man, traffic and funnels, started doing a bunch of stuff there. And we had an agency through that time, but nowadays, man, like Zach said, we are on the tail end of that. We've gotten out of it and really been focused on owning our media and creating brands online, creating newsletters online, and ways to drive traffic for other people. Basically finding pockets of audiences that are super passionate about specific topics, and then providing them with opportunities to buy things they love. That's been working great.
Heck yeah. And Click Movement, that's kind of one of your newer projects, right?
It is. Click Movement's the newest project we have that we launched. That's the one we decided in April to do it, launched it in May. We had nothing, just signed up with an email autoresponder, had no website, put it online, and just started buying traffic. And we started growing this, some people may say email is dead, but I think we've proven that it's not, and there's a lot of people that are proving that it's not, but it's got to be the easiest business I've been involved in over the years. And, grow your list, provide them with opportunities. So we launched it in May, made decision in April, launched in May. And last month in October, we hit 167,000 and change in revenue. And it's just been kind of head down and pushing. And every month we just keep hitting new numbers and looking to grow it to, now that we hit that number, our next goal is 200K, which I think we'll hit in December. And then kind of a long-term goal, well, not long-term, another year, long-term in marketing world, digital marketing world. So in the end of 2021, our goal is to be at 500,000 a month in revenue. And then, ultimately get it up to $1 million a month. So, and it's one of those businesses, man, that's just so, I think the reason it's so easy to scale is because of simplicity, right? You strip out all the complexities that go into marketing businesses and companies, and you boil down to what good marketing it is, creating offers that people want. So.
That's awesome, man. Congrats. It's so much more scalable than like the get a client, hire a team member, fire, lose a client, fire a team member.
Yeah. We did that for many, many years.
Yeah. No, I love it. That's awesome.
Heck yeah. Well, let's get to the nitty gritty, y'all. So, Nate, as you're aware, Rich Ad, Poor Ad, we dive into what's working, what's not working. So, I mean, what's working good for you right now? What's your Rich Ad here?
So, my rich ad, I guess my rich process is then my new, but many people's old one-step funnel. So I just started using this one-step funnel, and it's been working amazing. It's eliminated all the barriers. It's eliminated the ability to get into market, the complexities of getting into a new market. And we leverage email, we leverage paid traffic with it, and it's simply running to polls, right? So we run poll traffic to very passionate crowds, letting them vote, and then we put them onto a dedicated list of that type of product or, of that industry and of that niche. And we run a newsletter to them. I mean, the process in itself, it's super simple. It's worked. It's so much easier to just put a poll up, test the messaging, and have it done in an hour, as opposed to where a lot of people are, complicated funnels. And I'm guilty because I've done plenty of complicated funnels. I think I launched a company called Funnel Architects back in 2011. And so we've done all the complicated stuff. And it was one of those where, when you're trying to get a low ticket offer created, and I'm sure you guys seen plenty of those, it takes a lot of time, energy. You got to have a great copywriter. You got to have the right offer. You got to have the right audience. You got to have the upsells and downsells. You got to be willing to lose money on the front to make money on the back, like all this stuff that just these decisions that go into it, right? And even a coaching offer might just not hit we'll talk about bad offers. I've had plenty of bad offers over the years. So, but it just eliminates all that confusion and all that decision making, all that complicated tech, and it's a squeeze page with simple. So nothing, I don't think we're breaking the internet here with, groundbreaking information. But one thing I've learned over the years is when people stop doing something in the marketing space because they're on to the new shiny object, that's always a great opportunity to go back and focus on the stuff they've all forgotten about already.
So how does the model work, right? Like if I'm an agency and I'm thinking about, making a jump out, right? And I don't want to do another retainer client situation. Mm-hmm. You pay for the ads, right? You're doing your own Facebook ads. You've got a cost per email target. And then are you selling the leads as they opt in, or are you just making money on the newsletter promotions or both? Like, how do you really break down the unit economics of the business?
Yeah. So starting out, what we do is we basically start with CPA offers, right? Mm-hmm. People are paying us per sale or per lead. And so we're generating and growing the list, running the newsletter. And then we generate the revenue in that manner first. And then what happens when our list is big enough and the subscriber base is big enough, we go to these other advertisers and say, hey, we will send an email for you for X, right? So we got lists that sell, on not a daily basis. We sell anywhere for like 13 to 15 dedicated emails a month. And we don't do it we don't sell every day, but because you got to also provide value. You can't just sell, right? Yeah. And so we sell 13 to 15, ends up usually falling closer to 13 every month. And some of our lists, we charge $1,250 for. Some of them we charge $3,000 a drop for. So for those dedicated, it's all, at the end of the day, that side is still performance marketing. Mm-hmm. It's, obviously the advertiser has to get a result. And if they get the result, they keep buying and buying and buying. So it's, which is a lot nicer than, a lot different than the agency world, right?
Right.
So it's, pressing send versus building a funnel, two different worlds. So, so what we do is we generate revenue, obviously on those dedicateds. We generate revenue on the newsletters through CPA offers. We also have a ton of site traffic. So we use push notifications over there now. So it's evolved. We generate revenue on push notifications. We do other polls and push people around to different newsletters. So there's like a couple of different pieces. There's some cool tools out there that allow you to create your own ad server. So we put that on our sites and it kind of pops up different ads and rotates ads. So it's, it's almost like an internal Google AdSense, right? the way that we can set it up so we can maximize what we're doing on viewer, impressions and everything with different affiliate offers.
What kind of people are you getting with the different polls? So I'm kind of curious, like what are the polls as an example, kind of, just
a simple one, man, is the, obviously in marketing, everything dials down to demographics, right? Certain demographics buy certain things. So with us, one of our main polls, which has been really solid, is more in the conservative space. So conservative media. Now it's interesting. We bring them in on a political topic on a poll, but we don't promote any political offers. So we just know that audience, and then we've got advertisers that have offers. So for example, some of the people we show are Stansberry Research offers, Three Founders Publishing, some of those different companies that are out there. And what happens is, so they're buying financial offers, they're buying health offers, and things of that nature on the back end that fit, the people are already gone through they got the massive teams of people to create these funnels and systems and whatnot, and they just need more traffic.
Oh man, prime time with the elections and stuff, I imagine too.
Yes, yeah, man. It has been interesting.
Are y'all running those on Facebook too to get those leads essentially?
Yeah, we buy a lot of media. Just since we're in email, we buy a lot of email from people. Like we go out to other companies and buy emails from them. But we also do have Facebook, and Facebook leads tend to be a little bit more. The interesting part about Facebook is the leads are cheaper than if we go by email, but the open rates and conversion rates on the back end are way less. So it's kind of interesting. Just I think people are so busy just clicking and moving and opting into everything on Facebook. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. So out of curiosity, were you getting flagged for political ads since you kind of took that angle out of the gate, but didn't kind of focus on it, in the back end side of things?
No, we had because you just do the special category. Just falls under a special category.
Hell yeah. So yeah,
it reduces your targeting options. You know what I mean? But
yeah, anything this year that had to do a little bit political got really, really nerve-wracking for a lot of people. It's interesting to see how it all kind of pans out there.
Yeah, it is. But it's pretty crazy.
Heck yeah, man. Shoot, that's a one-step funnel process. Learn something new every day. So, we love to see what's working and, of course, what's not working. You mentioned some offers that definitely not work. So, what's your pour out of this, scenario?
Oh, man. There's a couple of them. If you don't have offers that bomb, you haven't made enough offers, right? So, you know what? In 2019, we were working on, I put a bunch of time, energy, and money into a fitness offer. Bought the domain, militaryfit.com. Still own it, but we tried supplement offers over there. We tried fitness offers. We tried membership offers. And it ended up just being it was kind of, we're like, all right, we're going to start owning all of our brands is when we started making that move. And this was the first one we did. And it started as kind of a passion project because I flew out to San Diego like 5 years ago and got my butt kicked by a bunch of Navy SEALs for like this 24-hour thing. And I was like, oh, you know what? I need to go create something around that now. So, and I did all that. And then when I came back and I started took forever to launch it, invested in it. The supplement offer bombed, put a bunch of money into that, bought the supplements and everything. And then we're like, all right, well, that didn't work. Let's try clothing. Clothing bombed. We were like, let's do shirts, do passionate crowds. Did not work. Then we were like, all right, well, let's take that. We got all this membership content. We created all these products. Let's create a sales letter and sell it. Nothing.
At what point did you accept failure here, that when you say it didn't work, right? Like, I think that when you, how long did you kind of run at that? Because this is every agency's dream, right? I've seen a lot of agencies, try to spin up their own offers, right? Like the grass is greener on the other side. They're robbing Peter to pay Paul to fund their other offers. And what point do you say, all right, this isn't working? Let's move on.
Yeah, way sooner than I did. So it was, for me, it's, do you get enough data into the offer? So we spun stuff up and we tested it. It just wasn't working, but I wasn't willing to kill it because I was excited about it. Mm-hmm. And I think at the end of the day, I wasn't thinking about the money. I was thinking about just doing it. And,
Mhm.
but for me, I guess decision maker, and if I'm going to kill an offer, it's more so, I don't want to just throw it out one time and then just say it didn't work and quit, which a lot of people do. Right. So we're going to run through our kind of testing protocol with headlines and hooks and angles. And we tested a bunch of it. But I would, if you've tested 5 or 6 things into a marketplace and it just isn't working, I'd probably, something's obviously off. So, I'd probably kill it after that. This one I did not. I just kept going. So maybe that's why it's the bad ad, right? Because I wasn't willing to accept that I was losing. But and interesting enough, one thing I didn't do in that business that I did so the very next offer we rolled out was I went and I just hired a copywriter and said, all right, I'm going to go invest a bunch of money on a copy. And that thing has produced consistently for us ever since too. So that has one kind of thing out there is if you do get into those offer sides of it, just hire the right people,
What'd you throw down for the copywriter?
15
grand.
So, yeah.
And that got you what?
A sales letter. Nothing else. A sales letter.
What? A sales letter.
But it's produced. Right. So, and I kind of got the buddy deal out of it, and on the pricing of it, because the guy has charged upwards like points and fees and whatnot. But over the years, I've developed some good friends in the industry, and my buddy was like, "Hey, I invested a bunch of money to have all this copy done. I got no projects. You want to just buy one of them from me?" And so it kind of worked out,
Oh yeah. Dude, how was that process? Was that like painful? I feel like just working with copywriters, they're interesting animals. You know what I mean? Like you have to like re-explain everything to them. Like it takes them a while to get up to speed on the product that you're trying to sell and do market research. I mean, I've spent long hours and evenings like educating some very talented writers. And like they're very difficult on timelines. So it's just like,
they got to feel creative to be able to get it done. And that may not happen for 3 months.
Yeah, may not happen ever.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, this one. I've paid copywriters over the years. Like it's always kind of just been one of my things. I've tried, and ironically, the one that tanked was the one I refused to hire a copywriter for and did it myself. But I think what it comes down to is I've hired different ones. There's been some that are easier to work with, some that aren't. Some have intake processes, but it's really hit or miss because everyone thinks like because you hire a copywriter, it's going to be a winner, and it's not. It takes testing. This one here, this guy that I hired happened to be very in tune to the niche, the real estate investor niche already. And he's written a ton of copy in it. And so basically what I did is I sent him basically a bullet point of what the offer is, big benefits, and then he wrote the entire letter.
Damn.
So, and it came out well. And it's like I said, it produces every day for us now. So but we didn't, interesting enough, I took it he wrote it as it being a low ticket offer. And then I just realized I just don't want to sell low ticket offers. And, so I turned it into an application that feeds to a phone call. And every day we get applications that come in. So, it's kind of different too.
Man.
Interesting. Yeah, you took a whole like low ticket sales page instead of add to cart. It's apply. Yeah. It's awesome. Cool, man.
Nothing crazy, but it's a thing I always come back to. Old is new.
It's a killer domain too. Military fit. You would think, that would be a solid one too.
Yeah, I mean, it might come down to congruency because I was never in the military, and the guy I hired was never in the military. So I think like our own mental blocks got in our own way. Kind of we weren't willing to go all in on some of the pieces because we just didn't feel like, all right, well, we weren't in the military. So.
This episode is brought to you by Funnel Dash's Ad Card, the only charge card exclusively for your digital ad spend in partnership with MasterCard. And if you are an aggressive affiliate dealing with dozens of ad accounts, or you are in gray hat or black hat verticals such as drop shipping, CBD, or other verticals where you're dealing with ad accounts getting shut down, business managers getting shut down, or even deplatformed from platforms like Facebook and Google, then you absolutely need to check out Funnel Dash's ad card. We give you unlimited free virtual debit and credit cards, so you can have a dedicated card for every single ad account campaign. And you can attach any name and address, and you also have complete anonymity on the card and at the card level. Plus, one of my favorite features is that you don't have to pre-fund or even top off like most typical virtual card solutions today. So if this is you and you're operating these verticals, whether you're an agency or an advertiser, then check out AdCard at funneldash.com.
Well, Zach, it's time, man. Favorite piece of the segment. So, Nate, as you're aware, this is where the big 180 is now. But, of course, with the name of the podcast, we love to find the crossroads in marketing and the finance side of things. So based off your expertise and kind of experience, what are some kind of financial fundamentals you live by, some tips out there you can kind of give based off your experience?
Financial advice, or you mean ad buying advice?
Shoot, it could be either. We've had guys talk about personal stuff, real estate investing, scaling ads, cash flow. It's super open-ended, but we definitely want to make sure it's what you know about.
Got it. Spend it. So I would say definitely go with AdCard. And then,
That's great.
So I think, man, I wasn't prepped for this question. Give me a second to think here. So I think if you're looking at on financial in regards to marketing, I think the biggest thing and misconception that people have is they feel they need to break even on day one. And I think it's a very tough thing to do if you're in the internet marketing, info marketing space, which is where I've spent so many of my years. That there's a way to do that if you have to be willing to invest up front, knowing you're going to make it out in over 30, 60, 90 days. And I think really understanding your metrics and numbers on the financial side that way allows you to generate more revenue. What happens is so many people get scared spending money on media because they're like, oh, well, if it's someone's new and they're like, I spent 10 grand this month and I only made 5. All right, well, how many leads do you have? What's your back end offer? What are you doing? And if you're scared about that, then, work on setting up. Banks will give you, AdCard will give you a credit line potentially where you can actually have 30, 60, 90 days to pay that money back, right? So I think if people really understand their numbers and they can invest properly in media. For me, I've always been a guy that I've done a bunch of real estate over the years, but I've always just reinvested my money back into new businesses because it's tangible. It's something I can see. It's something I can see the ROI on. Assets are great too, and real estate's great assets, but I always really, I like investing back into my business, which I think sometimes you can invest back into your business and then grow it faster than a lot of people just don't. It's every month.
Mm-hmm.
They get in this hamster wheel and it's like, all right, well, I made this much, I took this much, I made this much, I took this much,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't reinvest to grow that nut, and keep growing it up. So I guess that's more on the media side, on the marketing side.
Yeah. No, it's awesome.
All right.
That's awesome. I love it. I think in terms of, reinvesting back into the business, there's definitely I'm a firm believer in that. Like, I just invest heavily back into the business. I mean, just look like AdCard and Ad Capital is just like raped and pillaged me for everything. But I think it's just it's gonna be amazing, and it's an opportunity for us to level up from selling like agency software or dashboard software from our roots, and level up from agency services, and hopefully you're leveling up the offer, and every offer you're investing back in the business is going to give you more and more scale. And some of them are going to bomb, right?
That's true.
Some of them are going to bomb. And I love that. Well, that's cool, man. So tell everybody how we can support you and how everybody can get in touch.
Yeah, I would say just easiest way to reach me, because I always have a bunch of different websites out there. So I got one hub at NateKennedy.com. That one is consistent and will always be online. So NateKennedy.com, and then really mainly my handles on social media are Nate Kennedy MD. as in marketing doctor. So Nick Kennedy, MD. And you can hit me on Instagram and, message me over there, try and stay active. And, happy to, I love getting into conversations about marketing. I've been doing it for so long. It's what I do. So feel free to message me your most burning question on marketing. And if I know it, I'll answer it. And if I don't know it, I'll act like I know it. So just kidding.
That's awesome.
But that's the easiest way.
Cool, man. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. You've been an amazing guest on the podcast. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thanks so much for listening to another episode of the Rich Dad Poor Dad podcast. If you're like me and listen to podcasts on the go ahead and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and richdadpooradad.com/podcast. And if you absolutely love the show, go ahead and leave a review and a comment, share with a friend. If you do, take a copy, screenshot of it, email me, Zach@funneldash.com, show me you left a review, and I'll give you a free copy of the Rich Dad Poor Dad book. To learn more about the book, go to richdadpooradad.com. To leave a review, go to richdadpooradad.com/review. Thanks again.